know about. Thank you.
Well, I feel like I have a PhD in ninjas sometimes, and I'm going to try to exercise restraint because I'm finding that sometimes my bombastic nature doesn't always serve me while getting the message across. So I thank you very much for allowing me to come here. I've been frozen out by most of the media here at this time. The Signal decided not to meet with me. I'm the only voice of no on Measure E. I tried to get into the editorial board, and they said no. SCV TV, which is underwritten by the city, will not host a debate for Measure E. Hometown Station, the owners have endorsed Measure E, and even the Santa Clarita Gazette has endorsed Measure E. I have no real media outlets to go to anymore, so it's only through Facebook that I get an opportunity, and Twitter, for those people that are on Twitter, or an event like this. If any of you are able to bring somebody from YesS to debate, I'm more than willing to go against anybody, whether it's the YesS committee or the trustees. But I just wanted to cover some frequently asked questions so that you all know exactly what's going on. First of all, we start at such a basic level that it's hard to believe, but most people don't know that we live in a community college district. A geographic boundary, just like the Hart District, the Saugus School District, Sulphur Springs, Castaic District. That district basically runs from the Ventura County line over to Sand Canyon and south from Castaic through Newhall. That constitutes, in rough numbers, the Santa Clarita Community College District. Now, all that has become, due to open enrollment policies and lack of matriculation standards, is a target for us to be taxed to build new facilities. So let me get started. One of the things I run across is that people don't think that good people can vote against a bond measure that supports education. There are people that say, if you say schools or education, you have to vote for that because we're denying our children. And really, our children have been denied by the Board of Trustees that are supposed to be serving us by not limiting the amount of out-of-district students which are coming in to COC. I didn't draw the boundaries. These boundaries have existed for years, and we do not know that nearly 50% of the students that go to COC do not live within the district. Excuse me, that is legal because the state mandated an open enrollment policy. Now, the trustees have not taken the administrative action which is allowed under the law to limit out-of-district students. They are able to petition the Chancellor of Community Colleges in Sacramento to say that we are being unfairly impacted by this policy. They have decided to do that because they have no incentive not to do it. They want to keep as many students coming into the school as they can from wherever they come so that they can increase what's known as their full-time equivalent students, which is the income that they get for supporting the salaries. So when they say, hey, we can't take any monies from this facilities bond, what they're not telling you is the larger the facilities that we pay for, the more students they can bring in from wherever. So we're at nearly 48%. This is from their numbers. So Mary Baker, they can't refute these numbers, even though they try to refute the numbers and say some of these students don't go to the COC campus, they go to the Sheriff Academy or they go to the Fire Academy. Whatever the case might be, these are the figures out of their 2015-2016 fact book. And they've never made an effort to amend it, even though I've confronted both members of the Board of Trustees and Chancellor Van Hook with them. Santa Clarita Community College District actually has a relatively low, what they call participation rate. Statewide average is that 64 people per 1,000 residents age 18 to 64 go to the community college. That is only 52 per 1,000 here in Santa Clarita. So our participation rate by district residents is actually less than the state average. Yet we're being asked, and this is again out of the 2015-2016 fact book that nobody has made an effort to refute. They'll just say, well, it's a very valuable resource and businesses get a lot of business from this. We're told that we need this because we're going to have 10,000 more students over the next 10 years. Well, if you actually use the participation rate of 52 per 1,000, we would have to have nearly 190,000 new residents come into the Santa Clarita Valley over the next 10 years at the same participation rate to have more than 10,000 students. The question you ask when we hear 10,000 students is, well, where are these 10,000 students coming from? Because we're not going to double the population of Santa Clarita over the next 10 years. If we do, we're going to have more problems in the Santa Clarita community, the COC college. It's really disappointing. I mean, I almost want to cry because this campaign, all these slip flyers that come into your home are financed by the nonprofit COC Foundation, which is located in the Diane Van Hook University Center. So they are a nonprofit 501(c) that is using the funds that they've acquired to fund a tax increase. That is without a doubt. Look at the mailing labels on these things and you'll see TBW. That is the large marketing firm in San Francisco located next door to the Transamerica Center, which is doing all the marketing for them. They just outsourced this whole campaign. This is not the PTA. These are not taxpayers that are working to raise the taxes, okay? They are using tax-deductible donations to wage war on the taxpayers here in our valley, okay? They get the deduction, we get to pay the taxes. That's the way I look at it. They tell you that it's only going to be $15 per 100,000 of assessed value. Let's just say the average assessed value here is $400,000, so that's like $60. What they don't tell you is that we're still paying on bond measures C and measure M, which are already, if you look at your tax bill, I brought mine here so you can see it, $29 per $100,000 worth of assessment. They want to add 15 onto 29, so when they say it's only 15, you have to say, well, according to my tax bill, I'm already paying 29, so it's not 15, it's 15 on top of 29. These bonds can go for 30 years. It's like a home equity line of credit for $230 million that we really have no way to rescind or take back after June 7th. They just have a blank check to do a list of projects which are very general in nature. They could say, well, we're going to work on aerospace. They could build a spaceport at the Canyon Country campus, and it would fall within the parameters of what the specified projects are for. Matching funds, Lord have mercy. There's already qualified a November ballot measure for a new statewide facilities bond. So what we're doing is the matching funds come from money that we borrow in November if we approve that bond. This is all money, this is all borrowed money with no money down. The state already has liabilities of conservatively $125 billion, and some of our elected relatives, I feel like it, Scott Wilk is my next door neighbor, support the facilities bond and the tax measure. Scott Wilk wrote the ballot argument for this tax measure. Why did we just hear about this? This is strategic. They waited until the very last minute to file with the county clerk this ballot argument. Luckily, there are people that sit around at home monitoring these things to get in ballot arguments against. We do have the advantage that there is a ballot argument in your voter information booklet against it. It's not as specific as what I'm giving you, but it does tell you in generalities the problems with these bonds. The ballot question is very, very vague. It does not mention the repayment. All it does is mention $230 million. I think I'm going to be hooked here right away, right? What can you do?
What can we do?
I have a question.
Let me finish, and I'll stay after. Please vote no. Tell your friends and relatives to vote no. On social media, say vote no. Call your friends. If you do have funds available, I have a committee called Taxpayers Against Measure M. I can accept funds. Typically what we've been taught is that those funds will be used to make robocalls. towards the end. There are calls going out. There are secret emails that some of you may be receiving. I don't want to overstep my boundaries here, but this is a very critical issue. It's the most consequential one on the ballot, and I hope that if you have any questions, I will stay and answer them for you. And I thank you very much.
I just want to ask, isn't it illegal for a nonprofit to do what they're doing?
No, there's a loophole in the law. A nonprofit cannot support a candidate.
Right.
But because they want to have community engagement, where did Mary Baker go? So they encourage community engagement, so nonprofits aren't allowed to engage in ballot measures. What they're not allowed to do is use personnel or public facilities to promote their ballot measure, and that's been violated in numerous instances on the campus.
So why aren't they being called on that?
Well, let's just say that I'm not. You have to know how to do it. Number one, most people don't know where to go, what to do. Let's just say that some of that is being taken care of, but it's not a fast process. You have to go to the district attorney, Office of Political Integrity. How'd you like to work in that place? So we're monitoring as much as we can. When you get the phone calls, they don't identify COC as being a major donor. I mean, the list of violations is so long that I can't even, keep up with them.
Yeah, if they can't get Hillary, they can't get COC.
But it's important that we stay engaged. There's an election. If we get this beat, we can't pull back because those trustees have to be called to account. But we have not engaged. Shame on us. We don't go to those meetings. We don't follow what they do. When they're up for election, they run unopposed. Bruce Fortine's been there literally since the college was built. So it's somewhat shame on us because we're not engaging like Mary Baker said. But nonetheless, the first step is to beat this because there's a whole bunch more bonds coming down in November, and they're watching us as an example to see what tactics work and is there a chance to do this. I don't know if we'll get it done, but we'll get it. Our best chance is to work together and we stay engaged. Thank you.
If you have a Facebook page, find Steve on Facebook and you can friend him, right, Steve?
Yeah.